There's really two ways to make huge gains trading options. You can be extremely disciplined, consistently follow your strategy and slowly make more and more money, or you can try to make money as fast as possible by YOLOing with complete disregard for your own savings and just hope for the best. And it is my honor to present to you a trader who made more in March than he did all last year as a UPS big rig driver. He goes by the name of 1776, and in the last month he's up by 278% to $149,222.38, which brought his account to $310,000. And on top of that, he started his journey with just $5,000. But what makes this gain in his strategy special is that he didn't get lucky once and make all this money from a single trade. No, in March he had 13 green days and only 4 red days, while he was trading all the time. I mean, just look at the amount of trades on March 26 alone. And I would like to point out that he was buying just 2 days till expiry options. So what's the secret behind his strategy? Well, he trades heavily off of news, general sentiment and market feel. Because with the influx of retail casual traders, the news and psychology is just as important as technical analysis nowadays. For example, on the 26th, the day before his biggest gain, SPY dropped and there was really no reason why. No threat of war looming, nothing too insane, except for China with our chip companies, but nothing that merited that drop. So in his amateur trader's mind, he categorized it as an overreaction sell-off, which is why he started averaging in and averaged in until the last minute. He thinks it was definitely a gamble and he went in heavier than he normally does. However, SPY has been fairly predictable that month, because if you look back at the chart, many times when SPY nosedives for seemingly no reason, it'll pop when the market open for pre-market the next day, as long as there is no bad news overnight, which is the main gamble and a giant one at that. Otherwise, he usually sticks to intraday SPY scalps, riding the waves, very basic strategy. And the main thing that separates him from other traders is that he takes profit extremely early. Many times, if he held a position for even 5 minutes longer, he would have made $10,000 to $20,000 more. If he has a really large win, for example this month, he'll play some 0 days till expiry options, but he'll only risk what he gained that week. So his loss tolerance is largely based on performance in the prior month or week. Let's say last week he made $20,000. He'll go in on 0 or 1 day till expiry options with $2,000 at a time, averaging down. When the contract reverses, he sells as soon as he's 2 to 3 cents up. He won't go in with more than $20,000. That way, if he somehow gets wiped out, he resets to last week's starting point, not his entire career starting point. If it continues in the wrong way, he'll wait and come back later, and then he'll make the decision to average down to try to catch it or let it go. Having that said, he says that he doesn't really have a strategy. What has led him to success so far is a mindset, not strategy. You see, he's an UPS driver driving big rigs. They make $45 an hour, which is $160 a day after working 8 hours. But they normally work much longer hours than 8, so his daily average is closer to $500. Now, on $360 a day, he can provide a comfortable life to his family. So every day when he sits down at his computer, his goal is $360. When his account was $10,000, he was aiming for $360. Although when his account was smaller, it was just a target, not an expectation. His account then hit $50,000 and he was stoked, but his goal was just $360. Then it hit $100,000, so he took his wife out for a fancy dinner, but the next day his goal was just $360. Then it hit $150,000 and then $200,000. He was ecstatic. Now he grew up extremely poor, to the point that they often had a glass of water for dinner to fill their stomachs so they could try to get to sleep, which is why this was a mind-blowing amount of money to him. Now the day he hit $200,000, he had still been aiming for just $360. Then he started siphoning money out of his investment account to get all his bills and taxes paid off. And after he was 100% caught up, he hit $250,000. Today he woke up, sold his SPY swing called market open and hit $310,000. And he's happy because he hit his goal of $360. He knows he can have a great life and provide a great lifestyle for his family on $360 a day, which is why options are and always will be a way for him to steal back his life and spend less time at UPS and more time with his toddler. Other people might have enormous wins, but he nickels and dimes the market. He locks in profits that other traders with accounts his size would laugh about, but he doesn't care. It's worked so far. Want to know what happens when you don't lock in profits? Well, I let a trader by the name of XXX Germs XXX answer. He's in physical pain as he held MicroStrategy options over the weekend and was waiting for the rebound. In fact, before the weekend his positions were worth $64,000 and $40,000, but after the weekend his positions instantly dropped to $604 and $1,300, so he basically went from $100,000 to about $2,000 over the weekend. He held overnight to Thursday and lost all his profits from the day before, and was thinking but mostly hoping that MicroStrategy and Bitcoin would bounce back on Friday, but it got even worse, and at the end of the day on Friday it looked like a reversal, but it wasn't. He held over the weekend and got his throat cut. Once he was down by 80% on Monday, he didn't want to cut his losses, but should've and was just praying for Bitcoin to shoot back up to 70k that week. Luckily though, he has 127k in other accounts, not to mention the property he owns, so he might be okay. Just a hard loss. Ultimately he's down 18k as he threw 10k into each of those accounts to play with last year and just started trading them at the end of February. But sadly not everyone is so lucky, because a trader who goes by the name of Chef is down by 85k year to date thanks to options. So in just 3 months he lost 99.74% of his money, or $85,628.88, with most of his losses coming in the last month. He's now left with just $220.74. But on top of this insane loss, he also lost his job in early January and decided to start gambling again heavily in March. He did multiple earnings plays that went belly up, such as DKS, Ulta 5, etc. And the final YOLO was on PVH calls. He put his last 30k down on calls on April the 1st, expecting a top and bottom earnings beat and positive guidance. Yes, you heard that right. This genius YOLO'd with his last 30k, more than a third of his starting account value, on an earnings report. Now he really did his research on this company all weekend and was aware of how Lululemon missed guidance and fell, but he thought this would be different, because this company wasn't trading in the $400 to $500 range. Well, the stock dropped by 22%, and if he would have inversed himself he would have made a 10-bagger on puts. All his losses would have been wiped out on one trade, but his calls were snapped out of existence. Naturally he didn't sleep at all last night and is debating liquidating his IRA to live on now. And what makes this loss worse is the fact that when he lost money on Ulta about 23 days ago, he realized that earnings plays are just a coin toss and no amount of DD can predict the direction it will go. But it took him just 20 days to completely forget that and YOLO his last $30,000 on earnings. And after this most recent loss he once again came to the same conclusion. But I wonder, how long will it take him to forget it? I mean, even he thinks he'll probably be back, because his plan is to start small and double up his portfolio by, yes, you guessed it, holding through earnings. Just 4 or 5 successful plays and he'll make it all back. And this next trader, who goes by the name of Leo, was his name too, is probably the reason why so many people on WallStreetBets gamble with the hopes of making huge gains, because he turned just 2k to $112,000 in a day, although on the screenshot he's up by even more, but that's because he sold right after taking it and it dipped a bit. And he made such a huge gain because he bought 300 SPY put options expiring on the same day. So yeah, he was playing with 0-day sale expiry options. Was he just lucky, or did he actually know something? Well, he just had a hunch that the market would get scared about the Fed speaker comments. So he was basically just throwing at the wall. I mean, he didn't even have a stop loss and he chose the strike price because of the green start to the day and the fact that it was around that point in the pre-market yesterday. But there is another trader who bought 0-day still expiry SPY puts on April the 4th expecting the market to drop. Surely if he made the same trade as previous trader he must have made thousands of dollars, right? Well, sadly no. Because you see, trader by the name of Brink on the World closed his 300 puts this morning for just $600 as he took a 5k loss. If he held though, his position would now be worth $150,000. In fact, he has lost 60k in a day before and this hurts more. And because the only indicator he uses is vibes, he decided to YOLO with his last 18k on 1 day till expiry Nvidia and Tesla calls. And luckily for him, the next day Nvidia jumped well above his strike price, but Tesla unfortunately fell. And if you want to see how this trader went from broke to a millionaire in 1 year and a half, click on the video that just popped up. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe, and if you have any questions or recommendations, leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.